My name is Naveen Koorakula. I am a head of product at Aligned. We are a high-performance computing company focused mostly on Web3 workloads. And I'm here to present a new product that we are hoping to bring to market pretty soon. Just starting from the top, this is sort of what we're all trying to build up as an ecosystem. Filecoin is a decentralized storage network designed to store humanity's most important information. And humanity is really, really prolific at generating information. Even at zettabyte scale, we are growing exponentially, which is phenomenal. We've all seen this graph, and we know this. If Filecoin is to have a chance of actually storing even a significant fraction of that, we're going to need a lot more storage providers than we have today. And I think ESPA, just protocol labs in general, has been phenomenal in kind of fostering growth in this ecosystem. One thing, so we, at Aligned, we started looking at this Filecoin like 3-4 months ago, and one big hurdle that we noticed in storage providers being able to kind of get into business, scale up the business, is this what I call the provisioning sealing hardware problem, where you kind of have like a certain amount of resources, and you need to allocate that between storage and sealing hardware. If you veer towards more storage and less sealing, you have your storage gathering dust, not on chain, idling storage, which is not good for your model. If you overinvest in sealing, so less storage and more sealing, you're gonna seal up your storage, and then your sealing hardware is kind of sitting idle. So it's a problem that pretty much all storage providers kind of face across the board, whether they're small, medium, or really, really large. And over the last couple of months, I've talked to a bunch of them, and this is pervasive. The other thing is most people are really good at managing storage or managing compute, like running large operations. And Filecoin kind of makes you do both, which is not great. So that's sort of the problem that we were looking at. And so we were like, okay, at Aligned, we are really good at the compute side of things. So we kind of put our heads together. David, who was here a few minutes ago, but he kind of took a bunch of hardware and kind of rigged up a rig, and we were able to do some phenomenal things. And that's the product that we are hoping to bring to market in a couple of weeks. So we're calling it RemoteSeal. It's essentially Filecoin sealing as a service. Now, how does this work? I come from a consumer internet background, so I try to make things as simple as possible, then say, can we make this simpler? So we try to make the product as simple and easy to use as possible. So how this works is we have this binary we're calling it the remote sealing bridge. And this sits in your data center next to your storage. It presents itself as a worker to your Lotus miner node. And so that's kind of what it looks like. But in the background, what it's doing is it's literally just marshaling data back and forth between your DC and the Aligned DC, where we kind of have all of our compute nodes and kind of the sealing infrastructure. And TikTok, you kind of start giving us sectors, we seal them, we send them back to you, and then you commit them on chain. So that's the basic way it works. It's super simple. We've had external people up and running in like a couple hours tops. I think we're going to bring it down to 15 minutes. So very, very simple. Why do RemoteSeal? A big reason is, I kind of alluded to this, it accelerates your fill earnings, where you're able to kind of take all the storage that you have, get it on chain as quickly as possible, as soon as we are able to provision it. So it puts your CapEx to work much quicker, so it kind of has a big impact on the financial model. It simplifies your operations. it's pay per use, so you pay per sealed sector. So you're not like reserving capacity. You're like whatever is coming out of our sealing clusters, you receive a sector, you pay for it. So it kind of takes your capex line item from your financial model, transforms it into an opex, which works wonders for all the finance people out here. Your operations are also super simple. You kind of are able to focus on storage now, and you offload compute completely to the RemoteSeal. We're also flexible. It's also a flexible solution in that you can, if you, let's say, invested in sealing hardware already and you kind of want to continue to run that at an average load, and you get a big deal, you have a surge. You can use us for the surge alone. And so you can either offload all sealing, which I think most of the ecosystem will be kind of tending to over the medium term. But in the short term, feel free to use your existing sealing hardware and only use us for surge. That's fine too. It works with all of those cases. How we do it on the back end, on the day one, I kind of mentioned I'm pretty new to the Web3 ecosystem, and I really don't have much idea of what I'm doing here, but the team behind Aligned is like phenomenal. They've been doing this for like over a decade together in other workloads, but Web3 itself, like multiple years now. We are a vertically integrated operation, high performance computing operation. Our core is a bank of like large number of like thousands of FPGAs, and we have expertise like multiple decades of expertise on chip and board R&D and manufacturing in-house. We also run our own data center. We've had like a ton of experience doing that, and algorithmics and liquidity and application layer infrastructure. So it's sort of like a top to bottom vertically integrated infrastructure play for Web3. So that's the way we kind of are thinking of ourselves and executing. And what this lets us do is take a compute for essentially any workload, let's say like zero knowledge proving or proof of work in different avatars, Solana. But Filecoin sealing is something that we kind of are doing right now, where we're able to take the compute path, the data path, lay it out in hardware, and really kind of make it like push the limits of where we can go, and use our FPGA expertise to kind of make this like as efficient as possible. And you'll see some of the performance numbers. It's insane. So that's the technology behind this. In terms of performance, we are, so the PC, this is kind of compared to stock Lotus. The big number to kind of highlight there is the PC1. Most folks get around 3 hours or so for the PC1 stage. We are able to, actually, today morning we kind of broke our own record. We are at around 95 minutes for the PC1. So that's just like, we kind of pride ourselves on pushing the infrastructure as far as it can go, and that's sort of a testament to that. This, one is like really cool from a tech and science perspective, but this also helps us kind of provide this service at a affordable kind of at a model that makes sense for the ecosystem. So where we are, I used to say we are really, really early. I think we are, today I want to say we are early. We're sealing multiple hundreds of sectors a day for a testing partner right now. The service works. That's the words from our testing partner in his words. The plan is to scale up to thousands of sectors. So I want to call it like a PIB a week by September and a PIB a day by October. That's sort of what our build out is looking like. And on and on. So at some point I see us sealing like hopefully the majority of sectors that are getting on chain. That'll be fun. There are two things that I do want to kind of mention as caveats here. One is security. So the remote sealing bridge that I talked about, it presents itself as a Lotus worker to the Lotus miner. So what that means, it has some control over the Lotus miner. And this is something that we are going to be working with the Lotus team to kind of restrict the methods that it can call or kind of what it has access to over the Lotus miner. So that's one piece that is remaining to kind of get done. The other thing is monitoring. The remote sealing bridge behaves pretty differently from a typical Lotus worker. And a lot of storage providers, especially the large operations, they kind of like to watch the clocks to see, to make sure that there's no bottlenecks in network and such. I think Stu was talking about that earlier today a little. So we do plan to expose more remote worker status and also make it a lot more predictable in terms of like when you're getting sectors out. So that's sort of where we are. But like I mentioned, we are scaling up our capacity pretty quickly. But we are still early too. So if folks have plans to use something like this, you want to test, you want to reserve some capacity, talk to me. This is my email. Come find me or Neil, our CFO, is here. David, our CTO, is here. Any questions you might have? We're all here. Jess, our head of operations, she's here as well. Come talk to us. We would love to kind of work with you. I think overall, what really we are hoping to do is grow the ecosystem. Mainly, couple of different ways. One is kind of taking storage providers, making them just focus on what they're really good at, which is managing storage. And the second thing is the financial model, which helps people kind of grow their existing operations too. And hopefully we grow this Filecoin network together. I want to thank Protocol Labs, Stefan, Picnic, for having us here so early. They've been phenomenal in supporting us from the beginning. So thank you. But any Q&A? Any questions?
Yep, question over there.
We hope to make it, so the question is pricing. We hope to make it like a no-brainer. So we will, I want to say dramatically beat the what you're able to kind of do running it by yourself. I'm still kind of in like pricing discovery mode in full transparency. Like I said, I've been doing this for about like 5-6 weeks now. But that having been said, come talk to us. I mean, I'm sure we can work something out that works for you. Yeah. So our data center is located in northwest Ohio, right by Cleveland. And from a connectivity perspective, we are close to a fiber interconnect. So we have like, right now I think we have like 100 or 200 gigs per second, but we can easily scale that up to a terabit a second level. So bandwidth is not going to be an issue. Latency itself is not an issue because at the end of the day, you're kind of copying a sector out. So it's more throughput that matters. And we've tested with like DCs like in Asia and in Europe and such. So there are some network level optimizations that we've kind of figured out, which will help maximize those pipes. Yeah. Sure. If I understand the question correctly, does the product enable use of like lower cost storage for sealing? Is that what you're saying? Absolutely. So, we kind of take the compute away. So the requirement for you to kind of have like those higher performing storage devices or like storage clusters kind of definitely would go down, because now what you're effectively doing is running the daily proof of space-time, I think, right? So that kind of proves that you still have the data, but that's not an intensive operation. So yes, absolutely. It would enable people to kind of scale up the type of storage, the amount of storage, just by kind of changing the type of storage as well. So that makes a lot of sense. Thanks. So we are figuring out pricing, but it's likely to be in the
Say something.
It's gonna make sense. That's I think where I'm gonna leave it for now. Maybe I think we're gonna kind of have like multiple tiers, and also depending on whether you reserve capacity, and especially for the folks here, like if you're reserving like now versus like on demand, like a month or two from now, the pricing is going to be significantly different. That's something that I can definitely say. It's probably going to be in the like couple $1 to $2 to $3 per sector sealed is kind of where I roughly kind of have. I'm not going to commit to this, but if you come today, I might give it to you at that price. 100%. I was working on that last night. So there's CapEx, there's OpEx, there's headcount. There's a number of things. There's also in like financing the CapEx. There is the fill that you're gonna need to kind of acquire to be able to get things on chains. There's the rewards that you're gonna be able to get faster. So I've gotten to a point in that, but I plan to kind of actually make this model and make that open like for everyone, like a Google Sheet or something. So you can actually figure out based on your operations what makes sense for you. Exactly. Exactly. So kind of yesterday from Andrew's model, there was a GIF that was moving, and I kind of very quickly caught the rough order of magnitude. So I think storage costed around like $3 per tib or something like that, and I think sealing was around 20 or so. So it's like it's going to be a really dominating factor. So, but of course, this kind of varies by SP because everyone has their own architecture and kind of sources and supply chains and such. So it's going to differ on a case-by-case basis, but that's the broad. You can probably paint a broad brush and say this is just taking that line item of your model is going to make a lot of people very happy. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Naveen. Appreciate it. Thank you.